Hello and welcome to Adam's Music Box, where today we remember the life and musical legacy of Chris Jasper, who sadly died last week at the end of February. Now, Chris Jasper was someone who could literally do it all: composer, arranger, play every kind of keyboard, knew how to make any song work that someone else would bring, and knew how to compose music that could bring music to life in the hands of those that he played with. An absolutely extraordinary talent. And he's, of course, best known for being an extended family member of the brothers Isley, who formally joined the Isley brothers around about 73. And that sort of inaugurated their golden era where they just prolifically put out at least one album every year between 73 and 84 with that classic six-man lineup. You had the vocalist led by Ronald up in front, and then you had the instrumentalist Ernie on guitar, Marvin on the bass, and of course Chris Jasper on every kind of keyboard. Now, Chris was schooled, musically speaking, at Juilliard, one of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious, musical conservatoires in the world. And he continued to take lessons in jazz piano with Billy Taylor. He immersed himself in music, and to hear his interviews, and there's quite a few that were done, particularly in recent years, to hear him speak, pardon me, about his influences and about his approach to music and about his profound musical knowledge, it becomes quite apparent that not only are you in the metaphorical room with someone with a very deep soul, a very kind person, but you're in the room with a genius, because Chris Jasper was a genius, and he's one of the reasons, possibly the main one, why the Isley Brothers were the most sophisticated soul group of all time. And there were many. Some of the most versatile and virtuosic musicians of the last 60 years played in soul music or jazz or the various derivatives that all go back to sort of blues and ragtime and things we've all talked about before. But needless to say, they were a band of virtuosos, and Chris was in many ways the leader of that virtuosic camp within the band. He's done a lot of stuff in terms of his solo work. At the end of the 80s, he did an album called Super Bad, which, if you love the Isley Brothers, you're gonna love it because it's Chris sounding like Chris, and here he's actually showing off his vocal skills. And even though he's known as one of the instrumentalists in the Isleys, he can sing. It's really, really good stuff. And of course, in the mid 80s, when the six member version of the Isley Brothers, the big classic 70s and early 80s lineup. When they broke up, he got with Ernie Isley and Marvin Isley to do Isley, Jasper Isley, and they sort of continued on where the rest of the Isleys left off, even though the Isleys continued to put out good records under their own name. But from 1984, check out Broadway's Closer to Sunset Boulevard by Isley, Jasper Isley. Wonderful, wonderful album. The title track is just a real sort of rocker, really great stuff. And I mean, all of the compositions that Chris was involved in, whether it was, I would say, some of the best ballads of all time, to the funky stuff, to the more laid back R&B, to the stuff that was sort of rock, soul, funk, fusion, all of it absolutely brilliant. And it's just sad that he's gone, I would say, too soon. It would have been nice if he was around to do more, but that's life and that's how it goes. But the Isleys have always been a band that have been close to me, one of my favorites of all time. He was age 73, so by today's standards, not so old. When I was a kid, someone who was 73 would be in a natural history museum. But that's, another way that I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. But rest in peace, Chris Jasper, one of the great musicians of all time, and someone who's left a recorded legacy that's as monumental as it is timeless. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.